Greetings, astronaut, war hero, or Olympian. My name's Cave Johnson, and boy, do I have something to show you.
It's no coincidence that Portal Stories Mel starts with a tram ride. It's a direct reference to the start of Half-Life, and it's a rather fitting one at that, because the last time I saw a mod this accomplished, I was playing the Half-Life remake Black Mesa.
Thanks a lot, Black Mesa.
Portal Stories Mel isn't retelling an old tale though. Mel is its own standalone game, consisting of 5 chapters, numerous test chambers, a brand new soundtrack and voice acting, and best of all, it's available to download and play for free from Steam right now. As long as you own Portal 2, that is. If you don't, it'll cost you about 15 quid, but even then it's still totally worth it because you'll be getting Portal 2 as well. The main bulk of Mel is set between the events of Portals 1 and 2, but you'll start the game way back in the 1950s, in a small town built by Cave Johnson for his Aperture Science Innovators employees. As you wander through this town, you'll quickly come to realise the sheer amount of work put into the mod. Its makers haven't just shuffled around some scenery to create new puzzles or swapped out some textures, they've created a whole bunch of new assets and even some impressive cinematics to give the game its own unique flavour. This opening chapter alone does a great job not only of setting the scene, but also of showcasing just how much attention to detail there is. I mean, just look at these 1950s Tommy gun sentry turrets. How awesome are they? Of course, in true Aperture fashion, things go wrong pretty quickly, and after taking part in a faulty test for something called a short-term relaxation vault, you awaken many years later in a decayed and crumbling facility, with a fake Cave Johnson barking orders in your ears.
Don't worry about the heights. Had a few of my scientists make what's called Aperture Science Innovators long fall boots. That was easier to think of than I thought.
It's not long until you get your hands on a portal gun though, a cool looking prototype botched together with a paperclip and God knows what other office supplies. And from here on out you're in familiar Portal 2 territory, with gels, cubes, excursion funnels and all the rest, which when packaged together in Mel creates some truly brain crushing conundrums. Now all this sounds super marvellous and lovely, but it is worth pointing out that Portal Stories Mel is hard, like really hard. This mod is designed for people who have played Portal 2 and want more of a challenge, and as such, Mel throws you in at the deep end, expecting you to know what everything does and expecting you to remember all those little tricks that you learnt while playing through the previous instalments. There is absolutely no learning curve here. You go through the opening chapter, some stuff happens, you go to sleep, wake up, and then boom. Get out of this room, why don't you? It says, and then it just leaves you there to figure everything out for yourself. I've not played Portal 2 since it came out in 2011, which incidentally was the same year Mel started development, and I was stumped for a good 10 minutes. And if feeling like I'd been outsmarted right at the start of the game wasn't humiliation enough, there was even a slightly mocking sign in there that read, "Thank you for not loitering longer than 20 minutes, just to rub it all in." How very Valve. I saw one person in a comment thread describing Mel as the Dark Souls of Portal games. Now that's obviously a little bit extreme, but in a way they're right. If you're not up to speed with everything, the test chambers can be really punishing, and as failure in Mel often results in death and a restart, they can be rather frustrating. I think the key to Mel's success though is that it feels so authentic. It nails what it means to be a Valve game. The dry, dark humour is there in all the right places, the puzzles are just obscure enough for you to think they're impossible at first, but blindingly obvious once you've cracked them, and there's a compelling story underneath it all that'll keep you searching for solutions even when you think you've exhausted all your options.
Whew, You're not dead. That means that high toxicity lead didn't get in the air and, great job, astronaut, Olympian, or war hero. You really are a merit to science. Or something like that.
Mel is one of the finest mods I've ever played, and probably the closest we'll get to a proper Portal 3 for a long, long time. Get it in your Steam library now.